Hi, this is Team Spicy Boys bringing you a round 3 match from our Batter Up Friday local. On our left we have Dan, the Heart of Mastery Broly player, and on our right we have Nick, our Frieza Swap player. And both players are drawing their respective 6 cards, and let's see how many they're gonna send back. So Dan was sending back 1, so he must have a really good setup here for himself. And it looks like Nick's not too happy with his hand, so he's gonna end up shoving 4 right back. And alright. Alright, dice roll. We have, I believe Dan won this dice roll. So yep, getting their life set up, and we'll get this get this game going in just a few seconds. And let us see here. And he's gonna go and just end up charging the time magic right then and there. So he ended up doing a really fast swap there, and it took me a second to actually see what it was. But he ended up playing the 1-drop Grandpa Gohan, and then just swapping out to the 2-drop Gohan itself. And then he passes over to Nick. Nick's gonna go ahead and charge the Champa, use his leader auto to take a life, and then he gets to look at the top 2 cards and add a Frieza's armor card. He ends up grabbing his super combo there. He's going to end up playing the 1-drop Frieza to bump his leader up by 5. So now his leader's at 15. Swing into Broly. Dan's just going to opt to take it. And there's not much else he can do here. He can try to pressure his opponent, but sometimes it's just better off to leave the swap there, because if Nick was to attack with it, and the swap ends up dying, then he gets set back a turn. So sometimes it's just better just to pretty much just sit on it and then next turn swap out. And that's just like the theme of how like Swap wants to play. So Dan here ends up charging a Bloodlust, using that, and then he's using this 1-drop card here to tutor out the Height of Mastery, in which he does hit it, so it's really good for him. And it also searches out the 3-drop, who also has a Universe 7 tag, I believe. For the new promo that actually makes this deck possible. So if I'm correct here, Dan already has all the pieces he needs. He just needs to pretty much get to 4 energy. And Nick here is just going to end up charging the Ginyu. Again, going for his leader auto. And grabbing the 1-drop Frieza. And that's the thing that I really like about this leader. It has a good self-awaken tool. And you'll always usually net 2 cards off of it. So when you do, it's just really good for you. And yeah, alright, so he ends up attacking the leader, and Dan's just gonna have to take it. And if it looks like the lighting's going wrong, it's because someone was messing around with the lights in the store, and it's just unfortunate, so I apologize about that. So here he did end up swapping out to the 3-drop. And that's like, this is the scary part about Nick's deck, is that now that he has the 3-drop out, next turn if he has the 5-drop Frieza, he can just go into that, which is one of the most scarier cards in the deck. Because pretty much for the first battle card Dan would play, Nick could send the card from his life to the drop and cold bloodlust it, and it does play around deflect. So here Dan's just gonna end up swapping 2 into his 3-drop. And again, there's not really much you can do. He needs to get to that 4th energy. So that's the thing about this deck, you know. If he doesn't get to the point where he gets to 4 energy, he's just in a really tough spot. So like more aggressive decks can really just can beat this deck. So here he's gonna go ahead and do his auto again, and grabbing another 1-drop freezer. So Nick can really put on some pressure here. He definitely has the 1-2-3 swap, and then so he's just gonna go ahead and actually just attack right away. Dan's gonna end up comboing out 20 by discarding a Gohan, and well, 2 Gohans actually. And let's see what Nick decides to do here. So he's gonna end up playing the 1-drop, bumping his leader up by 5, making him 15. And then he's just gonna instantly swap out to the 2-drop, attack the lead for 15. Dan's gonna use his Jacko to super combo out up to 20. Then Nick's just gonna awaken right away. Pretty much drawing a card, untapping a card, dropping the freezer again, bumping him up by another 5, keeping up the pressure up by attacking with another 2-drop. And again, Dan out combos by 2 cards. And alright, so here Dan does decide to Nimbus, which is kind of weird. I feel like he should have Nimbused a lot earlier into his turn, so he didn't have to discard a lot of cards. I'm not sure why he chose to do it so late, but he does get 1 more attack. So let's see what Nick happens to do here, or decides to do here actually. And oh, so he does seem to run a yellow package in his deck. He just didn't end up charging a yellow, going for more aggressive plays. So here he's tapping 2, swapping out, and oh, he does have the freezer, and that's gonna cause quite a problem for Dan. He definitely needs to remove that off the board before he makes his big play next turn. And his hand sign is really low, so it's gonna be hard to do so. So then that's like where if he wasted all those cards comboing earlier, that's really gonna get back to biting him instead of nimbusing right away. So he's just gonna end up having to take that damage there, and that freezer is really strong because it's double strike crit. And with Nick's hand size, I don't see a way that Dan can pretty much get around this freezer at the moment. And yeah, Dan's just in a really tough spot here. Nick went really aggro, and he played the matchup pretty well. So I believe Dan only has 4 cards in his hand, and it's not like he can attack with lead, try to draw 2 cards, because then he'll be at 1, and then 1 simple negate pretty much stops his play right then and there. So here he definitely has to play a card here. So what Dan's doing here is he's playing a card because Freezer negates the first card played, and Nick's gonna choose obviously not to negate that card anyways. And by doing so, he's now able to pretty much have free reign of what he can possibly do for this turn. So he's just gonna immediately awaken to get his 4 energy out. And he's gonna go ahead and I believe he is attacking lead, and oh, he drew the victory strike. So that looks pretty good there. And yeah, so Nick combos out by dropping a freezer, and now he has Hide of Mastery here. Not unfortunately, for Dan, there's nothing for him to tap, so he doesn't need to worry about that. But he can drop the victory strike, which is something really strong there. And let's see, I believe this is 30, and that's 2 super combos, 20. 15, 25, 30, 35. And oh yeah, this guy has dual attack, so that's a thing. Or does it have dual attack? Okay, so he's gonna end up standing up a yellow there. And I believe that's for the battering laser. And oh no, so he has to tap one to play the victory strike is what happened there, I believe. And he does have the after image. And yeah, man, that's gonna make it so Nick does out combo it, unfortunately. And with Nick's hand size, this is GG's. Really well played by Nick. And he's just gonna end up comboing with the rest of his hand. Any damage dealt, I believe, is enough to just win in general. So, let's see. So, all right, he just needs to combo one card. Congratulations to Nick on that victory. Yeah, so that's just the matchup in general. You just have to really be aggressive, and pretty much he just Dan has to wait till he gets to 4. But all right, tune in for the next round.